Hi scholars, so today we're going to learn a new strategy to help us compare fractions. Thoughtful mathematicians practice comparing fractions using the butterfly method. So you can go ahead and review the vocabulary words that we've been seeing throughout this module. Pause to read them to yourself, refresh your memory. And I want to go over the comparison symbols we use just so that we have a better understanding of how to use them and when to use which one. So greater than is this symbol here, and it's used when the first number is greater than or bigger than the second number. Then we have the less than symbol, which is this one, and we use this when the first number is smaller than or less than the second number, so the opposite, right? And then lastly, we have equal to, and we use this when both numbers or expressions have the same value. They're equal to each other. So I'm going to show you the butterfly method. Here we have 2/6 and 2/4. So before I say anything, when we're comparing fractions, if the denominator is the same, we just look at the numerator and compare those two numbers, right? Because, for example, if I have, say they're both thirds, I have 1/3 and 2/3. You can clearly see that 2/3 is greater, right? So when the denominator is the same, it's very easy. I just look at the numerator. In this case, we've already learned how to draw a model to help us compare fractions when the denominators are the same. Another strategy you can use is called the butterfly method. And the reason it's butterfly method is because you crisscross, and when you draw it out, it kind of looks like a butterfly's wings, right? So what you do is you multiply up from the denominator of one fraction to the numerator of the other fraction. So it's also called cross multiplying. So I'm going to do 4 times 2, that's 8, and 6 times 2, that's 12. So I see that 12 is greater than 8, or 8 is less than 12, so I can use this symbol. 8 is less than 12, which means that 2/6 is less than 2/4. Now the reason this works is because we're cross multiplying, and while we're doing this, we can also multiply the denominator so that we have the same denominator, and that's why we're allowed to just look at the numerator. So 6 times 4 is 24. So these new fractions are 8/24 and 12/24. So that's why this strategy works, because we now remade these fractions into new fractions that have the same denominator, because before they did not. And that's why you can use this strategy to also add and subtract fractions, which, don't worry, we're not going to be doing that in third grade. We're actually going to learn that next year. But this is a strategy that you can use next year when you learn how to add and subtract fractions. So we don't have to do the multiplying the denominators. I'm just showing you why this strategy works. And again, the reason it works is because we make the same denominator. So that's why we only have to look at the numerator. So let's try one together. So I have 3/5 and 7/12. So we're going to crisscross and multiply up from the denominators. So 5 times 7 is 35, and 12 times 3 is 36. So again, I'm not going to multiply the denominators because I'm not trying to add these fractions, so I don't need to have a common denominator. But I want you to know the reason why this strategy works is because we find a common denominator, which allows us to only look at the numerators. So these numbers here are our new numerators. So which fraction is greater, and what symbol would we use to compare these two fractions? We would use the greater than symbol because 36 is greater than 35, which means that 3/5 is greater than 7/12. So go ahead and try this last one on your own. Use the butterfly method, and then press play when you're ready. So again, pause now, press play when you're ready to check your work. All right, welcome back. So we're going to crisscross, make our butterfly wings, and multiply. 5 times 2 is 10, and 10 times 1 is 10. So these fractions are equal. 1/5 is equal to 2/10. I hope you found this video helpful and you like this strategy as a new way to compare fractions. As always, this is just another strategy. If you already prefer drawing it out or comparing the fraction to half or any strategy that you've already learned, either from me or from YouTube or from your parents, that is perfectly fine as long as you're able to use the strategy effectively, right? What matters most is the strategy that makes the most sense for you and that you can explain. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.